waiting to push the button.
Welcome, everybody, to the November HRC. I'm Chair Will Hornaday, and I'd like to welcome you to a November meeting of the HRC. The HRC is a quasi-judicial body that is governed by the North Carolina General Statutes, the City of Asheville Unified Development Ordinance, and Buncombe County Ordinance. We're authorized to hear requests for certificates of appropriateness for alterations, demolitions, construction, and other work within historic districts, or for the alteration and demolition of historic landmarks, and other duties including preliminary review of subdivisions as specified in the ordinances of the HRC. I will now ask commissioners and staff to introduce themselves. Drew, let's start with you, since you are always last.
Drew Wilson, planning technician, support for HRC.
I'm Alex Cole. I'm the HRC staff liaison.
Dennis Ashley, legal advisor to the HRC.
Rob Mays, Montford.
Amy Moxley, architect.
Sue Oliva, historian.
Hey, Albemarle Park.
Celeste Gorman, interior design.
On Scobie, residential construction.
Cecil Holt, Montford.
Thanks, everybody. Now consider the minutes from last month's meeting of the HRC. The meetings include finding of fact and conclusion of law. Are there any corrections? Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearings. We'll now begin the evidentiary hearings for the items listed on the agenda. As a quasi-judicial proceeding, the HRC is not setting policy, nor are we soliciting public opinion on the desirability of an application. The HRC hears and considers evidence presented and applies the standards set forth in the standards of the specific historic district or landmark for that application. The HRC must make its decision upon competent, material, and substantial evidence to determine the facts of the hearing. The HRC will use judgment and discretion to apply the standards contained in the relevant standards to the facts. The commissioners in voting for an item will not have a fixed opinion, not susceptible to change, have a conflict of interest, have engaged in ex parte communication regarding the application. Rules for speaking. This meeting is open to the public, but participation is limited to interested parties who wish to provide commentary, testimony regarding the proposal. If you're going to be speaking tonight as a witness, please focus on the facts and how they relate to the relevant historic district standard, not personal preference or opinion. Witnesses must swear or affirm their testimony. So at this time, if you're going to speak, let's stand up and raise the right hand, and I'll swear you in. Solemnly swear or affirm that the information you present during the hearing for a certificate of appropriateness or preliminary subdivision about the truth. Thank y'all. Y'all can sit down.
Actually with the Planning and Urban Design Department, but I'll claim you guys. Sorry about the mics. I think we're still battling getting wrinkles ironed out. I don't know if you could hear yourself, but it goes in and out. And it's just, you have to be like the exact right distance away. So I know it's distracting, point being, if you're especially trying to talk. So sorry about that issue. But we're going to start with 5 East Winetta Street today. This application is for wrong place. Let me go to my presentation. Okay, so 5 East Winetta Street. We are about halfway through the block on Winetta, between SoCo and Montford Avenue. The front elevation of this house in question is on the right-hand side. Here are the photos of the rear where, just to give some background and context to you all, I think there's a handful of commissioners that probably will remember this application. It was an after-the-fact application that was originally approved by the commission in June of 2024. And the application was approved with the stipulation that the windows that were installed without a CA would be replaced with all wood windows. And they had until June of this past summer to get that done. And unfortunately, the CA expired. So that is what we are here to do today, is to get them a new CA approval so that they can move forward with finally getting the windows, the wood windows installed. They did include the specs with the application, so I'm not noting any concerns. I do think the main thing that you guys need to consider is how much more time you think it's appropriate to grant for the windows to be installed. I think the application is requesting through the end of March. But obviously, this issue's been outstanding for over a year and a half, or about a year and a half and change. And so I think that's something that you all need to discuss and come to a consensus on what you think is reasonable. And maybe Janice can help us get to that conclusion as well. Questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Call the applicant up to tell us a little bit about the project. Calendar.
It's written in the description of the work to be.
David, introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So that it's on the record.
David Humphrey, Square Peg Construction.
Perfect.
There is, with the application, there will be a timeline. Do you have a copy of
Yeah.
We have you right here.
it? So upon approval of the all-wood windows here, at the windows, there's probably receive the windows January 6th, and we'll get on the installer's schedule, and then anyway, end of March. This is,
By April 1st, we could be done.
yeah.
Windows, which staff didn't have any. All that we're. Days, David. We're back to March 31st from staff.
It's just easier too for staff.
So that's just checking in with staff and saying, expected for.
they're telling you that's how.
I mean, it could come in earlier.
Public comment. No.
Go ahead. You're done, David. Thanks a lot. You can sit down. I'm going to open the floor for public comment. If there's anyone here who wants to speak on this matter. Getting a motion together.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you very much for coming in, and
Next item on the agenda is 52 Cumberland Circle. This application is for modifications to an existing porch on a rear elevation. A little bit hard to see this house from the street. Context photo of the front elevation. This is the rear elevation where there's an existing porch. As you can see, the existing porch includes multiple screen panels. I don't know when this porch was constructed, but it's not original to the house. And the proposal is to install aluminum framing system with tempered glass windows and doors within it. I've never reviewed an application like this in Montford in my time with the commission. But in my professional opinion, tempered glass doesn't look anything like regular glass, especially when it's applied to a historic structure. And I know it's on the back, but it is pretty obviously different from an appearance standpoint. I also don't think aluminum framing is appropriate. Typically, when we've looked at enclosures in the past, they've been wood framing, wood windows, just like we would with any other kind of enclosed area on a house. So I understand the use, that I should also point out that I tried to make a site visit work with the property owner. It's my understanding that like the interior of the space is more like an unfinished kind of deck, from the way she described it to me. Unfortunately, I was sick the day that I was supposed to meet with her, and we weren't able to connect to reschedule. So I'll let her speak to the conditions on the interior, and, maybe there's some way that there's an alternative, but I don't think that this like, to me, looks like a very modern system. And I personally don't think it meets the standard that requires that, it's compatible with the existing structure in terms of in particular, the details and materials are, in my opinion, I don't think they're compatible. And then also there's, of course, the stipulation that new windows on existing structures should be wood, which is how we ended up with the last application that you all just signed off on. So anyways, those are my notes for this application. Happy to answer questions if you have any. Tempered glass is used a lot in commercial uses, where you need like a stronger glass, or like in a stairwell or something. I was trying to think before the meeting how to describe, because if you like Google it next to regular glass, you can't like look at an image. It on a historic structure, you know that it's not like the other. It kind of almost has maybe Commissioner Moxley, since you're our architect in the room. Do you think to me, it has more of a, it's not plastic. It's almost like a fiberglass. There's something about it that is visually different, but not to put you on the spot. But sorry. Sure. I think that's kind of certainly a bigger issue, especially because the standards don't allow for non-wood windows, and I don't know how we would call this something else other than framed window. Thank you.
Applicant? Are you both going to talk? Yes. All right, let's raise your right hand. We got to swear you in. You missed that part. It was a good part. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the information you present during
Without my glasses, excuse me.
Oh, no worries. No, that's okay. You'll need to present from here. But
Oh, okay, okay, cool. The back porch is a screened-in porch. I just bought the house, actually moved in the day. I'm a retired lawyer, now a shed in the back of my house down the hill, art shed.
microphone because they pick up your words
I'm
for the
sorry.
transcription. That's it.
Okay, so
You're
I
doing
can't
great.
walk down the hill in my backyard anymore without fear falling. So I have this screen porch, it's like a lake dock deck. It's red wood, very got a plank floor that's open to the cross face beneath. Convert it into and close it. That's the purpose of this whole thing. So I just wanted to put windows where the screens are, so that's all. And engage patio enclosures, because I did some research. Walk up the back steps you saw, and the door that goes in from the outside into the screen porch. Already aluminum materials there that porch was added. So it has an aluminum door, which is really ugly, and then just wood. Bottom of the porch. So the aluminum frame is just the aluminum that's thicker, stronger than a piece of glass, because that could be broken by acorn or some flying thing. We wanted insulated glass that's stronger. Not going to be heated or air conditioned, so I just wanted to have. That's why the glass is, it's not tinted, it's just thicker than breakable and not insulated. So that's picture is not very informative. So, and the windows would go into the aluminum pieces, wood. So if you have aluminum on each side of the piece of wood, and then the glass. So the right word. Thank you. Okay.
Hi, my name is Jason Morabito, and I'm with Patio Enclosures. Handle, which all of that is comfortable space that she can paint. We are also insulating under the
Get you back up in a second. Not a sample. This is still painted aluminum. There are wood casement windows. Gotcha. Yeah, this is way different. This is the first time we're all seeing this. So, application we receive.
I hadn't seen that, but to me,
Work with me to figure out something.
Standards for the neighborhood more.
Well, it specifically says new or replacement windows and doors on existing historic homes should be wood. It's not with aluminum clad windows.
Our task, just like we said at the beginning, desirability of a project? Or how does that apply to the city? That's our task, is to follow your community. Three neighbors?
You should apply them equally among. I really need this, but I know that quasi judicial and doesn't.
Stay close to the microphone so that the words can come
There's not any
across.
exceptions. There are circumstances without getting approval, and there application that was here before. Without getting a CA, and
Looks like the front, but it's the back.
flagged this to you early on.
I think there is a lot of leeway throughout the standards of like, what they ask us to, there are ways that we are able to sway, but I mean, I think that that statement is pretty clear that we are not able, other than wood windows on historic.
Literally that. But I think if that
Put an
was
aluminum
wood
door.
windows, I think the first porches may, this is more compatible than what we saw. Minus the aluminum.
But the wood, but I'm just pointing out,
As
the
well,
porches
yeah.
too, yeah, it may
Gotcha.
have had screens before, but if you're going to do something there, even if it wasn't.
So the last application, were those casement windows on that? So, I mean, you could literally pull up the application that was approved before yours and look at the model. They look very much like this.
Kind of have two choices at this point. We can vote, and it doesn't. Something that does follow. I think it's just,
A quote in our materials for this job that came up to like, that just the windows, or is that for insul? glass has already been cut for these particular windows? Oh,
Sorry, that's for two, that's for two.
yeah, the whole quote was $11,000.
Helpful for you to cost it out at least.
Our choices are to say you come back in a month. That would just save you the expense. Come back in a month. All continue, vote. If maybe we should just pull your application. I'm just trying to save you whatever.
Because if it does go through to a vote, then you have to wait a year before you're able to reapply. So you don't. Oh, okay.
Sure, you could come back and you say. Pull it, and you can still do the same thing. Just reach out to Alex and say, change. And can we continue you to? But the space on that meeting is? Okay, so December, January, think about it and just let Alex. Request from the applicant to continue Cumberland Circle to the February 2026 HRC.
Ask for one more clarification. Okay, so if we have there's wood,
Oh,
We're continuing it.
I'm going to reopen the floor. Go ahead. Yeah.
so we have
That's
April.
what I was saying, you're gonna.
We're going to reopen the hearing for 52 Cumberland that we just closed for continuance for a comment from, a question. Yeah, yeah. Today?
As is right now. The screens are just stapled to these pieces. Glass into the wood.
We're just saying that the wood frame material is, the frame material around the window is wood.
Aluminum.
So just like what you're doing, except rather than aluminum windows, they need to be wood frame. So the glass sits in wood.
Is that your?
And there's and if you want to go and look at the public docket, there's a, make and model for one type of window from the last application. For the, street, what's that street again?
Oh, the one just
Juanetta.
before, the one just before us?
Juanetta, yes.
Okay, well, that
The
guy's a
one
friend of
just-
mine, that
Just before you,
contractor.
Yeah,
yeah,
David.
he can tell you what.
I don't think it'll be a problem.
If you're replacing it, it has to be wood.
Replace it, it has to be wood. If you don't replace it, you don't.
Gonna close the floor for comment. Now we'll move on to 54 West Chestnut Street.
Right, it's front elevation, just to give you all. And proposed site plans. The application is for a pretty small rear addition. Before I forget, because this probably will get lost in my comments to you, but there, pre-Helene, there was a small accessory structure on the site that I'm not sure of the date. Structure that unfortunately had to be torn down because of the damage from Helene. That part of the application is for retroactive approval for that little structure to be demolished, and I think I had got through some photos or just so you could see what it looked like. I didn't include those in my so existing and existing photos of the rear elevation where the addition is proposed. Elevation drawings. I do want to clarify or get clarification from the property owner on the drawings. I think it's just a product of the software that was used to create these drawings because they don't match up with the photographs. Like the doors and windows are all different. So I just want to make sure we're not missing something here, because that really should be corrected in order for us to know that we have.
Like the sleeping porch having 4 windows across?
Exactly.
Okay.
And like, there's like this weird, yeah, there's like the weird glass block and those little those are, rendered differently. That little skinny window. So yeah, that we just need to get that corrected so that we know that the plans are adequately reflecting what's actually there. The proposed elevation drawings. Well, that was included in the plan set. Back to the proposed floor plan. Notes on this application that we need the actual manufacturer specifications for the windows and doors, as well as the edging material for the parking area. My concerns that I noted on the application is that, one, the siding material that's proposed is fiber cement product, and that has not been allowed to this point on a historic structure for an addition. So, historically, the commission's always required that the materials match, not just visually, but like the actual material. So, I think the siding material should be actual wood. I also think that the design would probably be helped a little bit by adding a trim board between the gable end, the shake and the gable end, and the lap siding. It just would look more, I think, historically appropriate to have a trim board there versus the just kind of floating in space above the lap siding. My other challenge with this project, even though it's a pretty small, straightforward application, I think it's interesting that and again, this kind of goes back to the accuracy of the drawings. It's a little bit hard to kind of go back and forth between all the photos and the plans, but I don't think that I think the fenestration could use a little bit of tweaking just to be somewhat more related to the primary structure. I don't have any issue with 1/1 windows. I just think that the windows in the existing structure have a different proportion. They there's places where they're ganged, and I think it just could be a little bit more cohesive. I also think it's a little bit odd that there are 5 doors on the one little addition. There's just the single door on the west elevation, which is the one on the bottom in this slide. I'm not sure, have the floor plan pulled up in front of me and zoomed in. But I think it might be helpful to add at least a small window on that side to make it feel somewhat like the fenestration carries across that elevation. And then going around to the east elevation where there's the 3 doors, I also think that's kind of odd just to have 3 doors and no windows. And I can bring up the floor plan and zoom in, but I've got it here on my last slide. If you're looking at the floor plan of the addition, like the left side being the side in question with the 3 doors, there's actually a door from the bathroom that opens out into the yard. And so I'm really curious to understand why you wouldn't want that to be a window. It's like kind of looks like you walk out of the wash closet and immediately there's a door there, which they may have their own reason for that. I thought that was maybe a place where they could make a change that might allow just for at least a window on that side versus just only doors. So those are my notes, just so the fenestration somewhat tweaked a little bit, maybe to be more compatible, and then the siding material. So, but other than that, size-wise, fine, and I think the parking area is fine. Happy to answer questions if you all have any.
Alex? I'll call the applicant up and hear about your project.
My name's Paul Heathman. I live at I grew up out in Waynesville and Asheville when I lived there. And before I went back to Waynesville, I used to drive down. Also, Housing Advisory Committee, so I maybe more fully appreciate the volunteer work you're doing. That rear elevation.
Yeah, let me just kind of walk you
questions.
through some of the things that I heard. The,
Totally object to, like the trim board and the,
okay, so adding a shingle.
here on the back, right, that we're looking at. Yeah, I think that,
Tell us about the windows. You're not changing the main house.
no.
That's just missing windows.
You mean there on the top? So that's a sleeping porch that somebody closed in at some point. I don't love how it was done, but I wasn't gonna touch it for now.
So right now it has 4 windows and it's showing 3 was what's hanging staff and me up for 2.
Started with
Because they wrap around the corner.
Yeah, you're right, they are around the other side too. What,
They're also in that inset nook, and maybe that's a little ear of it. But you're not changing windows on the house.
yeah, we don't intend to do, excuse
Just
me,
on
to
the
do
addition.
anything. Yeah, that's right.
Keep the rhythm of windows from the main house to the back.
That we're looking at,
Or probably on the driveway, best one, and then the other side is the, French doors, thank you. Let's just start with one.
yeah, I'm not sure which
Can
side
you
we're talking
scroll
about.
up a page or 2? Okay. Yeah, that's perfect. So the lower right, I think staff. Their place.
That's a closet, so that'd be weird.
Okay.
That whole thing is a closet, so it'd just be strange to have a,
Light on the outside of your house?
It's a great idea. Seems like a great idea.
Does that door just go into like a utility closet?
That'll be an entry. Which door?
Lower right.
On the addition.
The one that's
Right.
facing the car parking area. the new-
Yep, it's inset right there, and there'll be a side entry.
The drawing just shows a wall.
That you can see, the, at the house there, it just looks weird because the measurement line.
This isn't a touch.
Yeah, the door that's like, the door that's closest to the main house is going into a little closet, and then the door on the back, or sorry, no, that one's going into, like, it enters and you can connect into the main house. And then the door on the very back goes into a closet, it looks like.
Or the rear elevation is into a closet.
I think
No.
it hooks around and comes back.
Oh, wait,
I
on
think
the,
you're looking at the
on
west elevation.
this elevation. Yeah,
Make that larger. Is there a
I'll put-
plus somewhere? So we can kind of cursor and we can all be on the
Pull it
same
up by
page.
itself so that it's easier to zoom.
Addition is just
That door in the top right, the outside is just going into like a storage area.
That's not along the driveway, that's in the back of the house.
All right, the one on the side is an
South.
entry,
South.
that little area that's sort of like maybe.
All right,
Design that the designer came up with.
so, all right, so we've got that door solved. And then there's one window on that same south wall.
Right, the elevation shows a single window and the plan shows,
What are you gonna do?
is there something that you would say is more appropriate?
I think it did have two windows.
Yeah, the drawing does have two windows.
Oh, it does.
Have two. So I'm just following along. So that has two windows, and then the other one is a French door and another door.
French door gets you into the side yard from the bedroom, and then the door gets you into the side yard from the back.
It's just a window.
Yeah, I wanted access to get in and out of the. In fact, the original, we had the bathroom on on the other side, and it's over there on that side.
You're leaving the old windows in the house that are there? Current south elevation, you have that's staying in the wall or staying in the wall?
Yeah,
That's in the bathroom. That's gonna be facing.
it is, yeah. And I don't know, I don't even know how to tell exactly, but that might have been like an open area at one point that was like a porch, because the floor in that room sort of falls down, like toward the back, as if it were open maybe at one point. You would know better than I would probably, but that, I'm not sure that window's original, but it is wood, so it could be. No, it is stay, yeah. No, well, I think we're gonna cover it up. I mean, the goal, I think at one point discussed was like, if someone ever wanted to like remove this entire addition and restore it back to this way, that would be possible. And I don't know if that's a real idea from your perspective that's necessary or a goal.
Like just to store it.
Oh, okay.
Attic. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's the solution. Okay. That we can do. Yeah, seems like a better solution, thank you.
I was gonna
Okay.
say, could you reuse it on the addition?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's a great idea. I should, yes, what if I say we want to do that and then mechanically there's an issue?
Yeah, you could revisit that. If something changes after your approval,
Okay.
you can always reach out to me and I can just say, yeah. Well, oftentimes, review changes like that as minor work where you would just,
That's the only original window.
Well, no, unfortunately, my favorite kind of window or one of my favorite windows in the house is that it's not, what would you even call those?
Square ones,
Yeah, the wee tiny ones that are up high.
little square ones?
Yeah, those are awesome. And I do want to try to like reuse them somehow, but they'll be covered up as well.
Like built-ins below them.
No, there's not. It's just, but I thought to maybe try to
But those don't open. Those are just set.
Do they swing in?
Oh, they're casement. Okay. All
They're
right.
cool. Yeah.
Want to put those windows in your closet?
Store them in the closet, maybe? Yeah, I don't know.
Nice to have light in the closet.
Yeah, if you guys have cool recommendations, I'm into it, you know.
So right now, you're going to try and use a window, not getting thrown away.
Absolutely.
All right, so that kind of takes care of the house, the old house. Now we're moving on to the new house. Is there going to be HVAC in this
Yeah, there is. Yeah. In fact,
split mini that you're, or split? Okay.
Yep.
So there's not, and that
yeah, I like it to be the driveway side of the house.
where the other air conditioning compressor is.
Stuff's already there. It's like kind of a utility area already. There's like all my electrical boxes and stuff are right there, so it feels like it makes sense to like all of that kind of
But at
equipment.
the end of the day, Alex was gonna want all this in.
Well, you can just submit minor work application for mechanical, and if you want to do light fixtures, we can approve that administratively also. So if you have things that are involved, like I think we maybe touched on this when we met for your pre-app, but like there aren't any like pathways shown. I mean, obviously you've got parking on the back, so you don't need a path there, but like where the site work, point being, we can.
So that would be path, lights, HVAC.
Track of it. It's
Okay,
just
I
not
was just
part of
thinking,
this.
I was just making, okay.
Yeah, just for your knowledge though, like just know that.
In terms of process, thank you. Yeah.
So the wood lap, instead of concrete, fiber cement.
Sure. You mean the material
Instead of fiber.
specifically?
Yeah, wood. So you're good with
I
changing?
think my builder was like, we should use the fiber cement because it's way better. And I was like, there's wood already on the house and they're going to want us to keep it that way. So I'm like, I don't know if there's any example or if that's something that's allowable, but I think it'll look. Yeah, existing or the new?
The new.
But I mean both, yeah. Yeah, vinyl shakes don't look great. Yeah, it's on I have that on the side already, so. Oh. I guess I was thinking it was where the transition between the shakes and the siding.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
But I don't know that.
Yeah, on the new part, I don't think we do have that. I think it would look nice to do it that way. And now that I think about it, I think that is the way the transition appears on the existing home.
Yeah, totally fine.
Totally useless here, sorry.
No.
Oh, thank you.
You don't like the outside?
No, I like.
The daylily.
Here's our friend the owl, but you see what I'm saying? It's a little bit different because it's kind of got this like relief where the. Like in.
Oh, on the side, yeah.
Fancy.
So that's fine,
No, and hopefully that one will inspire some more murals in the neighborhood. No, one of my good friends did. In fact, if you've ever seen any other animal mashups in town, he probably did them. He had Jerry Cahill's his name, and he had a shop in the foundation buildings of.
glossed over and ignored. Anybody have any other comments for or questions? Well, not yet. We're gonna, I think, since we have no more questions, we're gonna ask you to sit down, we're gonna open. Thank you very much. Open the floor to public comment. Seeing none, I'm closing the floor to public comment. Commissioners, any other further discussion on this? Like you're going to come back, that there's a comeback aspect to this for, as a minor work? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Oh.
I'll follow up with you in the next couple of weeks.
That's our first photo I think we've had taken.
That wasn't fair. First one.
That we've known of. Want everybody there?
Love to see all of you there.
All right, let's be there.
Ask
All right.
questions, share your feedback, support, whatever.
And the city lent them our blueprints because we have the original Douglas Ellington. And I think Capital Projects is ready to just give it to them. Ellington at some point, but then you see the quality, and they really do need to be. Also, there's an up-close tile from the very rooftop, and
Yeah, they
you know,
had
you can
found
see
a
it from
bunch of
far, but
tiles.
yeah, so it's kind of cool to see
Yeah.
it up front, which I almost touched it, and somebody had to come over to me and say, please don't touch it. I'm like, oh, I just, you know, I know.
I'm with the city.
Oh, yeah. But the other, Richard Stark Smith was excellent too. Other, just artifacts by people who have done iron work or woodwork. It was really excellent.
Well, tomorrow, Heath, having a talking at ladder work. Thursday at S&W. Don't spoil it for us.
Right, but I guess what are your chances? Seem pretty good. Anyways, and there's apparently like a reception.
Sad news that Andrea Clark last Sonley winner. Otherwise, we'll see everybody bright and early Friday, 9 a.m. on the Zoom. AM for Sue. Is there a motion at 5:20 to close?
A motion to close the meeting.
All right, Mr. Holt, second. Thank y'all very much.